Hi everyone, this is Aaron, and today we're going to be looking at an application I've found to be really interesting and helpful. It's called AirDisplay. AirDisplay is made by Avatron, so let's go ahead and take a look at their website. Avatron makes the application for your iPad and your iPhone, and what it does is allow you to use the iPhone or iPad as an external display. While the iPhone would be a little bit small to use, you could use some things like stock tickers or whatever you might have that you could put down there for games, World of Warcraft, whatever you might be able to put down in that little box on a dual display, you may be able to do here as well. So let's first show you their site. This is Avatron's site, and if we scroll down to the bottom, we have 3 different downloads for Mac OS X 10.5.8, which is Leopard, or Snow Leopard 10.6, or for Windows. So if you have any of those operating systems, which the majority of you have one of them or more, you'll be able to use this application with them. So what you need to do is download that, install it, and so now you have the client on your Mac or PC, and then you need to purchase the app on your iPhone or iPad. If you buy it for the iPad or iPhone, you get it on both, so it's really nice. You don't have to buy it twice. I had it on the iPad, and I can use it on my iPhone as well without purchasing it for more again. So the application is downloaded on my iPad, as you can see here, and it's downloaded on my iPhone, which I actually have right here, and it's in this corner here. So let's first take a look at what we have as far as preferences. So what we have is, once we've installed it, it will show up on your bar at the top here, or it doesn't have to be there, but you can open the application and this is what you'll get. You'll get these different options, and I have AirDisplay on. I can turn it off. I can disable Auto Connect. So what Auto Connect allows me to do is open the application while this is looking for it, and once the application's open, it will say, oh, there's another display, and switch and give you dual displays. It doesn't say there's any device found. That's because I'm not running the application. We also have AirDisplay preferences and display preferences and updates and about AirDisplay. So let's go ahead and minimize this and open the application on the iPad. So we'll open it here, and it'll take a moment for the Mac to recognize it. So if we go to AirDisplay here, you can see it says Aaron's iPad. I click on it. They will recognize and sync. It does do this automatically most of the time, but because I've been using multiple devices with it, it did not see it automatically. So if I go to my iPhone, open the application, it actually gave me a little bit of a problem there because I've got multiple devices, and this does this over Wi-Fi. So you can see this here, and then on my screen I have the option of my iPhone or iPad. I'm going to choose iPad for this demonstration since it's the bigger display and easier to see. And there we have it again. So what we can do is, using the preferences up here, we can do the AirDisplay preferences, and this allows for Auto Connect, things like that. It'll take a moment to open here. I've got a lot running. We have Connect settings, the device we're using. Let's go into settings. We can move the window back to AirDisplay, enable touch input, which I'll show you in a moment. We have auto check for updates. Pretty simple to use, and we can automatically connect or decide not to. We also have the option for display preferences, and the reason you want to use this is because mostly for the arrangement. On the arrangement side, we can arrange if it's on the top, bottom, or side. So as you're seeing the screen resolution on the iPad right now, it's on the side. If I move it down here, you'll see the dock drop to the bottom, and if I move my mouse down here, I can actually go through it. Now it is a little bit choppy. It is using Wi-Fi, but it's not bad at all and very usable, especially if you're using it as an application window. So let me go ahead and give you a for instance with it. Let's close this. We'll open Windows 7 here. I have running on a virtual machine, and drag it to the right. And you can see it's a little bit choppy, but what I'm going to do is full screen my VMware session. Let's go ahead and full screen that so you can see. Now take a look at the iPad screen here. Once it refreshes, there we go. So I have Windows 7 running over here. I can get access to my Zune software, which is what I use it for the most. And what we can do is tap here. We can open the start menu, and it's acting a little bit slow for some reason. There we go. Could just be Windows. And if we click off of it, we click off. If I want to double tap and open an application, I can do that. Move it out of the way. Actually, let's open a folder. I can click and drag. I don't know if you can see that. The folder's not opening for some reason. Let me... it could just be Windows. That's kind of odd. Normally it opens right up, but honestly I would advise you use the mouse, as Windows wasn't really intended for this. This is actually better with something like a movie or something that we have here. If we drag it over here, I will add it to Windows, so we don't want to do that. But you get the idea. You can use this as a separate Windows session, which I did last night when I was using Zune. It was quite nice. If I go here, we can open Zune up. You can see it's opening. So it's really nice. It's a neat application. Now let's wait for this to open, and we'll switch to the iPhone and show you how that works. So here we have the iPhone. Let's tilt it this way. There we go. We have the iPhone, and let's switch to the iPhone. It's going to take a moment. The screens are refreshing. It's connecting via Wi-Fi. There we go. And we have full screen on our iPhone, or our iPhone. So if I click here, again, it's a little difficult to use. It's probably easier to use with the mouse. But we could use it for, not a ton of practical applications, but we could use it for some different things, such as little movies we want to watch over there. Or I like having your iTunes or your Zune player in the bottom of your screen, just to get it out of the way. And it's kind of nice actually to look at it, especially if you could use this during when you're doing a lot of work online. You could use Twitter, and I think I would use that a lot. Or I haven't used it recently, but instead of running the Twitter app, you can have it running here on your PC or Mac. And let's switch back to iPad. Get the iPhone out of the way, and you'll see it'll switch back. It's really kind of neat, and what it can do. So let's go ahead and wait for it to refresh, do its thing. There we go. We'll close Zune Player. Some things my kids were listening to, a couple different musicians I listen to. Yes, I want to close software. So while it looks like it's running on the iPad, it's not exactly running on the iPad. Let's see if we can, like I said, we can click and drag, and that works pretty well. The double tap to open, I don't know, let's try our two fingers. It's a little bit finicky, and it is sort of how Windows receives the input of this, so it's not too much of a big deal as far as that's concerned, but you know, it's pretty neat, and I would expect you to use it with your mouse anyway. So if I drag this down here, bring it to a single window, we have that. And up here, let's go ahead and open our Twitter feed. And we can drag that over here also right over the top of Windows, so we have our Twitter feed going on here. So it's a really neat application. It's $9.99 for those of you that wonder. I don't know if they ever do any specials or anything like that, but that's the cost of the software. Like I said, it's universal. It'll go on the iPad or iPhone, and I think it's a really great way to save yourself on a monitor. If you really don't want a dual monitor, but you'd like some other place when you're using your Mac to actually have Twitter and maybe a couple other things going at once, instead of having one app like Twitter running, you can have Twitter, Windows behind it, maybe your little iTunes music bar, or whatever you want to do with it. It just makes it convenient to have out of the way of your screen, maybe while you're doing editing and wanting to listen to music or something like that. I think you could think of a ton of different applications that you would use beside what I would do, but I think that's a pretty compelling thing to have on your iPad, and I wouldn't say it's a must-have, but to me, I really appreciate it, and now that I have it, I've been using it a lot. So if you have any questions about it that I haven't answered, please feel free to ask. Thanks to all who watched, and please subscribe and comment if you haven't already. This is Aaron. I'll see you next time.